the city of Abilene as the official storybook capital of Texas.
Imagination, creativity, values. Abilene, the official storybook capital of Texas, is home to the largest public collection of storybook sculptures in the United States. Beginning in 2012 with the first annual Children's Art and Literacy Festival, celebrating the art of Dr. Seuss, storybook sculptures were created as a source of inspiration to celebrate reading. The annual Children's Art and Literacy Festival, also known as CAF, is attended by thousands of people and includes dramatic readings at multiple venues, creative art activities, film festivals, storybook character parades, storybook costume contests, illustration and writing workshops for children, all capturing the spirit of literacy and fun. This year, the CAF will celebrate the work of the most revered illustrator of his generation, Garth Williams. Plans for the celebration have been in the works since 2015, when Mitch Wright, a native Abilenian, created the design for a garden to be known as the Adamson-Spalding Storybook Garden.
The whole process has been a fantastic process. It's really been fun, from the original sketches, including sketches of elements like this tree that will be lining around the whole park with lights in them, so it'll be the lighting feature. It's really been an incredible process. Having the team come together, friends like Richard, who is fabricating the steel trees, has done a magnificent job, and working with the engineers who have donated their services are doing a fantastic job. The whole team has really been really pretty remarkable.
Hundreds of volunteers were involved in the project, including the Dias We Care team, where airmen from Dias Air Force Base donated more than 500 hours. The Big Country Homeschool Association and the ACU football team also worked throughout the year, painting trees at TD's Machine Shop, owned by Richard Adkison.
Because we need to protect this rebar, we came up with a product out of California that is a vinyl product so that it keeps it from rusting. It's a really neat product because we can paint that product straight on these trees without doing an excessive amount of cleaning up and sanding and all these other things that have to be done with other products. The product should last for a really long time and give us plenty of time, because after a while we'll have vines climbing all these trees.
Dick and Kay Spalding generously provided the first major gift, laying the foundation for future donations.
We are very honored to have a part in it. This sculpture will be here for, we hope, 100 years for people to pass through, the next generation and the next and the next, and that there will be some enjoyment of it down through the years. We wanted to be involved, and then we also wanted to be involved because of our tie to the private foundations, the small little foundations that we operate. Mrs. Adamson had always been deeply involved with Altrusa and books for children and that kind of work.
Dr. Adamson was the first cardiologist here. He was an incredibly smart man and very funny, and had this fabulous garden. He could grow anything. And Mrs. Adamson, Sadie, was such a wonderful Southern lady. She loved everything about Abilene, and she supported everything good in Abilene. And I know that the Adamsons would be really happy with this.
There will be a lot of our kids involved in it down through the years, and I hope their kids. It's very satisfying always to see your name a part of something else, and we're very much proud of that, my goodness.
The creation of the garden has been a true community-wide effort, made possible by hundreds of volunteers, foundations, businesses, and individuals who've donated more than $650,000. Many businesses in Abilene, including Lauren Engineers and Constructors, Ingram Concrete, Inprotech, and J.H. Strain & Sons, generously donated their resources and expertise. The Adamson-Spalding Storybook Garden contains 5 sets of Garth Williams' most iconic characters: Charlotte and Wilbur from Charlotte's Web, Stuart Little, and characters from the Little Golden Book series, in which 3 bedtime stories are featured: Goldilocks and the 3 Bears, the 3 Little Pigs, and the 3 Little Kittens who lost their mittens. The sculptures were created by Hardin-Simmons University sculpture professor Steve Neves and cast by Abilene Christian University professor Jeff Broderick and the Schaefer Foundry in Arlington.
And we're working in the sculpture studio. These are 3 of the projects that are in progress here, the 3 Little Pigs. You can tell that this guy, the one who built his house out of brick, he's almost finished. I had a little damage to his hat, so I'm having to repair that, and I need to add some bristles to his broom here, but you can see that he's nearing completion. Well, the first thing that I do is I have a look at the illustrations by Garth Williams, and I try to assess what are the key components of them. You know, what are the most important textures, the most important shapes, and what makes each of the characters who they are. I do several drawings that try to create a full image of what they would look like in 3 dimensions. Stuart Little has wood that I gathered from a creek bottom. It has twine in the creation of it, and then his paddle was actually carved from a fence picket. So just whatever materials seem to have the texture or the shapes that I need. Being able to add enjoyment to the lives of people for years to come, I think is my hope here. And this week we've been doing a lot of work on the Bear's cottage. In the illustrations, it's a bunch of boulders stacked up with wood, and where Goldilocks goes in and has a good party in there, tears up all the bear's belongings. Did a lot of rebar work and underlayments. We're going to have some live plants living in there, and then did concrete over the top of that, shaping that all. It was a fast and furious process, but it was a lot of fun and enlightening to me.
It all starts with Steve Neves, who does an original out of plaster and oil clay, and then he brings it to me, and then I have to do dimensions and size it all up, and then I'll start making rubber molds to catch the details. Then I put wax into those molds, which become replicas. We pour those, and then we break that mold material off, sandblast them. This is the before, and this is the after. This won't be shiny after I sandblast it. If it's like it is, it won't take color as well. But each of the kids can come up and look at these things, especially when they have color. And it's like the little storybook coming to life because it's 3-dimensional. So I'm thinking that it's going to be pretty special.
Well, one of the important things that we wanted to convey in the garden is to let people know how important storybooks can be in conveying values to their children. And so as you go around the garden, you'll read the benches, and some of the quotes are about kindness, and some are about perseverance, and some are about integrity. So that to us was a really important part of creating this garden, and we hope that people will have an opportunity to look at those quotes, read those quotes, and then go home and read those books to their children.
It is good people who make good places. Stop saying I wish and start saying I will. We all can dance. Do your best wherever it is. She was in a class by herself. No act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted. The Lion and the Mouse. Aesop's Fable.
Tiny of body, but brave of heart. We always finish what we start.
To further celebrate the special role of storybooks, a 15-foot sculptural generation tree has been placed in the center of the garden, where families have the opportunity to honor a loved one through the purchase of a leaf on the tree.
The way that came about is when we were developing this plan for this garden, we wanted to make sure that everyone had a chance to have a part in its creation. There are only a few people who can afford to donate to a sculpture, so we created the generation tree, which is covered in leaves of green and gold and silver and red. And these are purchased in honor of different people. So we've got grandparents, we've got parents, we've got children, we've got friendships. So it is a generational tree. We have the red leaf, which is kind of special because you can't buy it. It can only be acquired through hours. And that is for all of our volunteers who gave 25 hours or more. And so each one of them has their own red leaf, and some of them are organizations. But we had so many volunteers that we wanted to thank everybody. And so this is the first generation of this garden, not the final one. I
sincerely hope that it will be continued for years and years to come, and that everyone will put their touch on it, that this won't be the final. There is no finish to this garden. It will be continually evolving.
When they walk in, this is a beautiful place that Lynn Barnett and the rest of the crew has built. I think that when you enter this space, you're going to sort of forget about the outside world and hopefully find a sense of peace and wonder and get to relate to these characters. That's my big hope, is that when people come in here, that they find a sense of relationship with the stories and with the characters, and that they feel like they're meeting old friends for the first time.
The legacy of the Adamson-Spalding Storybook Garden will go on and on, creating imaginative journeys for generations to come.